A federal monitor has found that the NYPD is continuing to patrol inside private buildings after banning the practice in 2020 and possibly using it to target people for stop and frisk.
CBS 2's Allie Bauman's been investigating what some are calling an unconstitutional overreach. She is here now with what she found. Allie.
Well, Maurice and Christine, for years, NYPD officers were patrolling inside the hallways and stairwells of thousands of private apartment buildings. But the practice was challenged in court with claims that officers were using the access to target people for stop and frisk. The department shut the whole program down, or so they said. The signs are on apartment buildings in all 5 boroughs, warning that the NYPD patrols these private residences and trespassers are subject to arrest.
This building, that building, most of these buildings have that sign, and they're serious.
We'll protect the residents in the building.
The signs are from a police program called Clean Halls, or TAP, Trespass Affidavit Program, dating back to the Giuliani era. At its peak, thousands of New York City landlords gave police permission to patrol inside apartment halls at any time. Problem is, the NYPD got rid of that program 3 years ago. Why did the NYPD stop the TAP program? NYPD Chief of Risk Management Matthew Pontillo.
In this day and age, there just wasn't a need for it.
But a new report from the federal monitor tasked with reviewing NYPD practices found that in some precincts, officers continued to patrol inside these buildings after the program ended, with various patrols resulting in serious compliance concerns with stop and frisk encounters.
Officers are still using TAP locations as a basis for stopping people, which is unconstitutional.
Daniel Lambright is an attorney for the New York Civil Liberties Union.
When you have officers doing these random interior patrols of people's homes, it obliterates that safety that people feel. And especially when you have that racialized dimension, it really relegates people to kind of second-class citizenship.
Are officers still doing random interior patrols of TAP buildings even though the program's ended?
No, we don't see it. And we look at the monitor's report. They really only cite to just a few examples.
What's your first name?
Chief Pontillo showed us body camera footage from instances he says could seem like random patrols to the monitor, including this, when officers confronted a group smoking inside their car in an apartment building's garage. Pontillo says the cops were there because they received a series of 311 complaints. Some would ask, is this just the same act of monitoring a building under a different name?
Right, except that it's not programmatic and it's not random. Right, so it is still responsive to community complaints and crime conditions and quality of life conditions, but it's not indicative of over-policing.
Chief Pontillo says the department has trained and retrained officers since ending TAP and made all landlords aware. But the signs, which are on private property, remain.
And that really gives officers an indication that these buildings were formerly in TAP. And it also doesn't communicate to residents that TAP is ended.
Do you think it sends the right message to the residents of that neighborhood to have those signs still up?
I guess it depends upon your perspective. If people think that those signs give them an elevated feeling of security, then I think that's a good thing.
The federal monitor says until the NYPD works with its office to ensure police are no longer patrolling inside buildings, it cannot conclude the program has ended. And Chief Pontillo says the department conducts internal audits and reviews of its stops, and they claim to see no correlation between stop and frisk encounters happening near buildings that were formerly enrolled in this program.
So first off, eye-opening information there, Allie. What happens next?
So basically, if the federal monitor continues to find that the NYPD is not in compliance with this agreement, the New York Civil Liberties Union can bring the department back to court, and this continues for, years and so on.
Keep going around and around.
A lot of splitting hairs going on. All right.
Thank you, Allie.
Thanks so much.